What's going on, guys? I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's the DrumQuig Podcast 40th episode. And this is such a huge, monumental moment because Steve was with us from the very beginning. I think he was actually one of the first people to actually follow the podcast, and he was our fourth episode. So welcome, Steve. Welcome back, man.
Thanks, Matt. Congratulations, by the way, on the last 2 years. Nice to see your podcast is building some momentum. The interviews are great, and I'm glad to be here again.
Dad had actually sent in a question, so I wanted to kind of start off with that. And it was how do you stay motivated, through everything you're going through, with the fact that you've literally cranked out so much content since we last talked? How do you keep motivated day in and day out?
I mean, all you have to do is go on any social media and just watch people play and just go, damn, I suck. Always way to get better, and I'm just driven to, I'm not content to, I just, if I'm going to go down and drum, there's days I go down and just do stuff I already know I can do, but work on getting a little better. But a lot of times I like to just see what's going to take me, and like anything, some are great. Some like, oh my God, thank God no one's listening to me. But that's what drives me is to stay, let's just stay where I feel like, I'm progressing, because it's a lifelong pursuit. And anyone that thinks it's not isn't really pursuing, greatness, in my opinion, because how can hundreds of years of drums have been around. How can we think that we can master it in 5 years, 10 years? I've been doing it 50 and I still feel like, gosh. So that keeps me motivated. And all I got to do is see one good kid that's 7 years old and I want to punch him in the head because these kids are so damn good anymore that I think, wow, I suck. So that's what keeps me motivated, is just watching other people that I respect, and there's a lot of them, and a lot of them aren't even famous. They're just people on Instagram or TikTok or wherever that I've become friendly with. And sometimes it's just the personality of the guy or girl that's playing that it motivates me to keep up. And that's what I always say. I'm just trying to keep up with the young bucks, and girls.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have to make sure to include girls, and it's not to not include them, but obviously Annika has upended the entire drumming community and is inspiring the next generation, both boys and girls, to just shoot their shot and take that leap of faith, because she's crushing it. No better way to say it.
Very, very impressive. I'm sure, like the other 4 billion drummers out there, you think, wow, could I do that gig? Not that you would ever get it, but just you think, wow, the pressure of that and the shoes you're filling. And then comes around the people that you, like Mike Portnoy, the first people you would think who would be a natural fit. And I don't think many, if anybody, thought Annika. But let me tell you something. I'm so impressed, because I can't imagine stepping into that role. And
I don't want to. I would never want to. Nope.
Listen, I would have tried it, and I think maybe I would have got through one night, and I probably would have shit over the stage from nerves. She's just doing an amazing job, and people should really give her credit for, because she's an accomplished drummer well before Rush. I mean, she is an A-level drummer, and she's showing it every night when she plays.
Absolutely. And I think one of my favorite things now is the humor that's being brought with all three of them. Her taking the selfie, or the other night with the newspaper. Neil would have never done that. I don't think Neil would have ever been funny like that, in a sense that we would have seen. Like, that just wasn't his character. But right. The way that she's bringing it out, it's just so much fun.
Yeah, well, Neil was Neil, and Neil was very serious, and I know he had a good sense of humor, because anytime you hear those guys talk, or you see that video where they're first getting back together after being not being playing since the daughter had died and the wife had died, but she's in a position where she can be her and not have to try to live up to, being so stoic as Neil always was. So, and she's bringing a whole different vibe to the band, I think, so it's very refreshing to see. I'm glad that she's not playing things note for note, she's putting some of her own personality into it. And I'm going to see him next Friday. I got great seats. I can't wait to go see her. So listen, I mean, as drummers as a whole, we should be very proud of her and what she's doing. And she is very inspirational to, all the young, players out there, but especially with females. Listen, you can, it's not an instrument that's dominated by strength. There's no reason why a girl can't be as good, if not better, than a guy.
Yeah,
And he
absolutely.
showed that, you know?
Yeah. And we've talked about it before where I think that's why they picked her. They picked her to go a completely different route and see what happens. And like you said, the 4 billion people that have probably picked apart every half second of her performances, I haven't seen negative comments yet. I'm sure they're out there, but I have not seen any yet still. And I'm like, I think she caught everyone by surprise by, like you said, not going exactly note for note, but what Dad calls Annika fills, where she throws in her little nuances of herself in there. And I love
Yeah.
that she's doing it.
Yep. And the band sounds great. I mean, with her doing it. So she's found a way to bring some of her personality into Rush's music and still hold true to her identity. And she's doing an amazing job. And anyone that says not, they're just being idiots, because there's no way that any realistic, grounded musician can go, she sucks, or no one's going to be Neil. Even Mike Portnoy wouldn't have been Neil, but at least she's bringing something different to that table that's making it fun for me, who's a lifelong Rush fan, to hear these songs again with a little bit different, little bit of different approach to it.
Yeah,
So it's been great.
absolutely. Yeah, and it's always funny because Portnoy would have been my second choice.
Who would have been your first?
Danny Carey.
Right. Well, they were the 2 people, if you think about it, that would have first names, people would throw out. When they found out that Annika got the job, obviously, people said, well, I wonder why Dana didn't get it, or, Carrie didn't get it, or Portnoy. But it would have been very interesting to see how Danny would have did it. You know what I mean? Because I wonder if he would have brought some. I think Mike has done so many Rush tribute things and he's been more a note for note kind of guy.
Yeah.
But it would have been great to see Danny do it and see what he could do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad they're not. And I know that, the Beat Tour is going back on the road and they're getting Terry Bozzio instead of Danny Carey, which means we may get some new Tool music. So I feel like it would have just impacted too many things down the pipeline. Beside the fact that Annika is bar none the best choice. I will say it now. I don't think anybody would have done it better. And that feels weird to say because I was a doubter. I was like, what are we doing? And I'm so glad that shut me up. Shut
us all up, because if anyone says they weren't a doubter, there might have been a few core, hardcore Annika fans to start out with that, followed her from Jeff Beck and her YouTube videos. But anybody else, we were all shocked and went, what? And and I'm good. I don't care what anybody says. We all said, I could have done that job. I could do it just like, I could do it better than her. We're full of shit, first of all, because she's an incredible player. But listen, I can't wait to see her. I am just so happy for her as a human being that is dedicated to the craft and has paid her dues. And now she's got probably the best drum gig out there right now, is playing for Rush.
Absolutely.
And she's getting all the accolades, she's always deserved. But now she's getting them from a much bigger audience that has been exposed to her. So it's been great for her.
Yeah, and like you said, fans for 50 years. That's hard to try and replace.
Impossible. So she's done the next best thing, which is done enough to pay tribute to the man that did it, and still gave it a breath of fresh air, which is a hard thing to do if you really think about it. Tom Sawyer, how do you do anything but Tom Sawyer? Right. You know what I mean?
And I think she said it. They said people who aren't even drummers know how to play Tom Sawyer, know what it is.
Yep. Most air drum fill, besides maybe In the Air Tonight or whatever.
Say Phil Collins, yeah.
Yeah. So, and she's done an incredible job.
Yeah, for sure. What song are you looking forward to most? Like, is there one in particular? Because now I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm not looking for like Tom Sawyer and like the Free Will. Free Will would be good. That's great because I love the tune. Love Villa Strangiato, obviously, because it's such a complex tune.
Yeah.
Wow. You did this to me about what Zeppelin song would I want to play on the 4th episode. Thank you. I remember that question.
I was like, you remembered.
I remember. I just, what, the more complex stuff that but to be honest with you, the stuff that I've tried to do myself and went, what, I can't do it really well either. Those are the songs, because that kind of just brings into context how what level she's on.
Yeah,
If that makes any
absolutely.
sense. I'm playing 50 years. I'm okay at the instrument. And if I struggle to do it and she goes up and just knocks it, just tells me, hey, jackass, there's a reason she's there and you're watching her play. So as a whole, I'm looking forward to the whole thing, but I would say La Villa Strangiato would be one of the ones I really, and maybe, I don't know what they're doing off of like 2112 album, but all of it, really all of
Yeah,
it.
all of it. Well, La Villa being Dad's favorite song, and I always say it wrong, no matter how many times I've said it out loud. So I never say the second part of that. I don't think we ever asked anybody that question again after we asked you.
Dude, you stumped the shit
So
out of me.
the-
I should have said Achilles Last Stand or some really badass Zeppelin tune that I in Kashmir, like the song that you could play after maybe a year and a half of drumming.
Yeah. Listen, we saw a Led Zeppelin tribute band years ago, and he started playing Moby Dick, and he had the sticks, and I'm going, you better do it. You better do it. And all of a sudden, sticks go flying, and he actually did it with his hands. And I was like, you know what? All
How
day
was
long, it
How
was so
was it?
good.
Was it? Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. That, to me, like, how do you mimic something so amazing?
Yeah.
Like, and listen, anytime any of us play covers, it's plagiarism no matter what you do, right? It's plagiarism in a way, right? Someone already wrote the parts that came and did the thinking of coming up with it. So all we're doing is copying. And I always go, just how to have that creativity, to come up with that stuff. It's easy to go listen to Tom Sawyer and go, okay, I can play Tom Sawyer, but you didn't come up with Tom Sawyer. You didn't come up with the fills and the openings of the hi-hat and the little nuances that make that song what it is. So, I don't know. Just, there's so many great. When I see a tribute band, I'm always okay if something adds a little bit of the personality because they're never going to sound exactly. That's why I asked you how the drummer did, because Moby Dick is Moby Dick.
Yeah.
It's almost like playing Tom Sawyer in a way, right? Because you're so fixated on, if you
On
listen
the
to the song,
exact parts. Yeah.
the song makes the same drum solo, when he goes to the hands, and blah, blah, blah. So we've all that's all been ingrained in our drumming heads. So when you see somebody do it that has the balls to do it and they do it really well, it's very impressive. I just go, wow, wow.
Yeah. And I think as drummers, we're obviously way more critical of people. I feel like than most musicians, because we'll be like, even if I can't play that song, you still catch yourself going, you missed a note, you did this. Instead of going, wow, I can't do this. I couldn't do that.
I would say though, guitarists are worse than drummers. All right. I mean, they're the worst at cutting each other up. You know what though? Honestly, man, I think at least in my world, I'm sure in yours, drummers tend to be the most supportive of the instruments towards each other. I mean, I'm no big shot. I got 15,000 followers on Instagram, but I got followers over the world that I communicate with. Like we're talking, but we'll just go through Instagram message. We're very supportive of each other. But it is hard to listen to a song that and go, I didn't do that fill right. Like you know what I mean? But here I am contradicting myself because I'm sitting there going, the guy does his own version of a fill. I should be like, oh, that's cool. I don't really pay attention to missing beats and stuff because you know what? We all do that at times.
I think it's more so when we catch the drummer make a face and you see him go, and every drummer does that one face. Like if they drop a stick or anything else, it's always like,
I look right at the bass player. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You know what I mean? You blame somebody else. Wasn't me. I'm a professional.
I'm a professional. It wasn't me.
Yeah. Like, yo, dude, but the bass player didn't drop both drumsticks. I'm like, but he made me drop the sticks. So it's still his fault.
Yeah. And I mean, the last bit of Annika, she dropped the stick on the first night and kept playing the flute.
And she did it in a tough tune. It wasn't like it was like something easy. It was in the middle of the fill of, I don't know if it's La Villa Strangiato. Well, she was doing a big fill.
Did you see the stick? And you see her go, flip, done.
And then pick up another one, but kept doing the fill. Did you see the one I did this poster though, where she came in too early and I don't know what song is that. Oh my God. It was Xanadu.
Okay.
Did you see it? She came in too early. They just posted it yesterday. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's a professional band, but so what? 40 tunes and they change them up every night. Neil wasn't perfect either. We just didn't have any video.
Proof of that.
You know what I mean? When they trust me when I tell you, if they're recording this to to release it later, you won't see the drop. Just like you wouldn't have seen if Neil dropped a stick or missed a beat or came in early or something cut out on them.
I am hoping that they're making this. I can't see any world where they don't. They did it for everything else, for our 40, our 30. Got it. They've got to do it because this is, I don't want to say this is the last dance. That just sounds so, like I'm ripping off ESPN right now, but
Well, I was gonna hold my breath and wait for him to call me, but I think that there's probably 3 million drummers better than me before I get that call.
yeah.
So I'm not gonna hold my breath.
On that same note, now that we've just become exclusively about Rush for the last 20 minutes, do you think they'll make new music?
And I didn't even read the article, but Facebook last couple of days was saying something about Getty talk. I don't know.
Do you think they need to make new music? I guess would be probably a better question then.
Do they need to make it? Well, that's an artistic and individual thing for them. I mean, what do they obviously they don't owe anybody anything. They have done their albums, they've done wonderful work for all the way up through Neil's passing, and now they're back doing it again. It would be first of all, it'd be interesting if Annika did it, right? Because they can get anybody to do a studio album. Or multiple drummers, which they might go with the multiple drummer approach, which would be kind of interesting, right? Maybe Danny and Portnoy, Mike Portnoy get the call. Simon Phillips would do it. Steve Colucci would do it. I would do it for free.
I like that. Those are the 4.
Yeah, those are 4. Me and those guys, because I fit right in with them. It would be. I think it would be great, but I don't know if it's necessary. I think they've done everything they set out to do in their lifetime. But I would be receptive, like every other Rush fan, to hear it.
Yeah, for sure.
But what would screw that up, though, Matt, is Neil's involvement with all the lyrics. Like, who's going to... You lose a lot of it without Neil writing the lyrics to that stuff. I don't know if they could do it justice without him.
Yeah, I would agree. And it's, it was for my generation, making it sound like I'm, 20 years old here. It was Portnoy. Portnoy was my Pert. And I'm always going to call him Pert. I know it's Peart. I know for some reason nobody started correcting us until the last 10 years, but
Right.
And I think it was in the I Love You Man sketch where they're like, "Are you sure it's Peart?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know my own damn name."
Awesome.
When Portnoy left and Mangini came in and you saw the changes in Dream Theater, you saw the lyrics kind of go a different direction. And then with him coming back, it was immediately evident that he was heavily involved in it once again. So I get that from that standpoint of Neil being the driving force behind all that. Neil was probably more the lyric writer than Alex or Getty, regardless of what they've said or, what has come out. But yeah, I guess that makes a good point. He would probably, it would be really hard to follow that.
Yeah. How do you come up with the themes and the wording and stuff that is all Neil? That was all Neil. Neil wrote all those lyrics, Real quick to touch on the whole Dream Theater. In my opinion, Mangini was much better with Dream Theater. And I don't, I know, and cause you just said, listen, that's nothing against Portnoy, because I've gone and seen Dream Theater a bunch of times with Mike Portnoy. Let me rephrase that. Can I get a redo?
Yeah.
Not better. I like Mangini did the same kind of thing that Annika's doing, where he brought a different approach to their music, if that makes any sense. Maybe not better. That's the wrong choice of words.
No, I understand it. And there were some things that he did where I loved a lot of the songs. I liked most of the albums afterwards. It was hard though.
I find that I think being driven is a big part of my personality, wanting to always tinker and see if I can get better. So it's just a self-driven. Listen, I got a full-time job, that's high pressure and, all that stuff like most of us have.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt this internal desire when I hear things that can I duplicate them? For example, I come downstairs after work, I put a metronome 200 and just work on how many ways I can apply a triplet. Silly, little things like that, but just for something to do. You know what I mean? Just something that's not playing a song. I know you said something about kicking out Zeppelin tunes, and what I was saying was that a Zeppelin takes me. This is not a brag. This is just because I'm playing it for so many years. I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes to do a 30-second minute clip.
Wow.
But I don't do the whole songs because what I found, at least on everything but YouTube, you go more than 30 seconds or a minute, man, people have already passed it. It took me years to figure that out, Matt, because I used to do the whole damn song. Then I'd find out it was copyrighted. Son of a bitch. It's 4 hours of my life down the drain. So now what I do is that, if I'm out of time, if I don't have a lot of time, that's when you'll hear me do a Zeppelin tune. Because I can come right down and really kick it out pretty quick. It's when you hear me do stuff like, Rush and things that are, Dream Theater. Obviously, that takes some time. But
Yeah.
I'm just driven. I'm just driven to be, I hold my, people are nice enough to say, hey, you're really good and comments like that. And I'm appreciative of all those comments.
Of course.
Yeah, but the people I listen to, I think I suck compared to, and even people on social media, I go, wow, and then that just motivates me to see if I can do what they're doing or, approach a skill set that maybe I don't have. And that just what keeps it fun for me. So that's where I get my motivation. I just always want to play. Some days I'm down there for an hour. Some days I'm down for 15 minutes. Some days I don't come down at all.
I think it's important to note the time frames of what you just said. Sometimes I'm down here for 15 minutes. Sometimes it's an hour. It's not always, okay, I'm going to set aside 1 hour today. I'm going to have to do 1 hour. It just comes down to what you feel in that day, in that moment, right?
Absolutely. Well, during the week, I mean, I work. So the earliest I can get down is 5 o'clock if I'm lucky. And if I'm on, if I'm on the road doing my job, then it might not be till later. But I'm a firm believer in focused practice. So when I go down, I don't go down and for the most part and go, I'm just going to bang around. I usually have an objective so that even if I'm only down there for a half an hour, I know for that half an hour, this is what I want to be able to do and see what I can get out of that half an hour. So at least my practices are productive. And then there's like the weekends I can drum for hours if I feel. It's all depending on how I feel. I got a family, I got kids, typical routine, but the passion to drum is every day. Every day I want to go down and play. I just can't always do that.
Well, yeah, for sure. And I like that, having that goal in mind, having a purpose to go down there. Like you said, not just going down there to bang around and then walk away. Like you're going down there, whatever you're doing is making you better in some way, shape, or form.
Yes. So a perfect example is the other day, limited time, finish work at home, put the click on 200, start playing triplets, just, and then just how many different ways can I move triplets around between my hands, the drum kit orchestration, fitting my bass drum, using the bass drums instead of just the hands. And, next thing you know, we're 25 minutes in there, just going all around the kit. But the key when I'm doing that is thinking of, first of all, staying with the metronome, keeping my triplets flowing smoothly, and just making sure that I'm doing the patterns that I had worked on and seeing what will come out within that space of time that I'm practicing. And then what I'll do from there is that there'll be things that sound great, a lot of things that sound like shit, to be honest with you. But the ones that I really like stick. But they stick. So then when I do, because I go down and I work on soloing, groove, different chafy patterns and patterns, and I forget patterns of stickings book. But I do work a lot on soloing because I'm by myself. So I'll remember a particular orchestration that I really liked, and I'll see what I can build around that. And that's kind of, that's kind of what I do no matter what I go down. But I will tell you one thing, Matt, every single night, regardless of tired, I always do my roots. Always do them. I'll sit and watch TV for hours, but I got my little table, but I keep something soft, a pillow there, so it doesn't aggravate the shit out of my wife. But I'll do them for hours. I love it. And it's funny that people don't, drummers don't spend more time thinking about how important like your rudiments are. But I mean, everything you do is with these. So why would you not want to work on, it's like saying you want to be a bodybuilder, but you don't want to touch your weight, So that's so, right? So no matter what, at least
Be an interesting bodybuilder.
I'm a bodybuilder, but I'm building it wide. I don't think that's the right way to go.
Well, you're absolutely right. Like the paradiddles are the foundation in a sense where it's like not everybody has to know them, but knowing them does help.
If you just do singles, doubles, paradiddles, and maybe flams, right? You really do encompass almost every one of the 40 rudiments. So if you have limited time, singles and doubles, because what's a paradiddle? It's just a single ending with a double. So you're combining two rudiments. So if you're always working on singles and then doubles, it makes sense that it would be a lot easier to start doing a paradiddle because you're just combining the two. So that's always my thing.
Well, Steve, I just want to thank you for the amazing conversation. As anyone who's going to watch this episode, they're going to notice you're in different places and wearing different clothes. And that's because we've had to do this 3 separate times, hence the 40.3 joke at the beginnings. Well, this is my little pedestal here. And Florida Drum Fest is coming up. It's less than a month away. It is Sunday, September 20th at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Eustis, Florida. We're going to be doing interviews at the table. So anybody who wants to come by the table, I don't care if you've been playing drums for 5 minutes or 50 years. We'd love to talk to you. Love to get your story. Come say hi. If nothing more than to just say hi and, tell us why you're a drummer, why you love the drums like we all do. So come out and see us. The tickets are like $15, guys. So it's not the end of the world, and it's going to be a super fun time. I'm really excited for that. Jerseys for drummers. We will be debuting our new jersey at the Florida Drum Fest. Nobody's going to see it before then. Super excited for that as well. And I always shout out Stay Tuned Records here in Tarpon Springs. Great record store. I just love the idea of being able to get tangible media to this day, and having people my age running a record store who love music and love the experience that it creates around the record store. It's something I really, just appreciate through and through. And that's why the episodes are now on Tuesdays, because I had a couple of people say, man, I remember Tuesday record drops were the best thing ever. So that's what we're going to do. But absolutely. But once again, Steve, you were on episode 4. Now you're on episode 40.1, 0.2, 0.3, whatever we're going to end up calling it, whatever it was. Yeah, we'll make it 4. Yeah, we'll make it that way. So thanks again, Steve. I really appreciate you hanging out, and enjoy, guys.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe to the DrumQuig Podcast. Thank you so much.